that noise?
Using what looks like a stun gun on another bargain hunter. ABC's Rob Nelson has been following this.
Man, Halloween may be spooky, but Christmas is just f***ing scary. Well, that's okay. I know just the thing to take my mind off all the chaos out there. Some nice, relaxing shoot-em-ups.
This battle is about to explode. Bring it on!
Oh yeah! Now I'm relaxed. In case you're new around here, hi, I'm Skelly and I like shmups. Don't know what those are? Stick around, you're about to find out. It's A Skeleton Spooky Steam Shoot 'em Up Smorgasbord 5. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, that's right. Halloween's going overtime this year. How do you like that, Christmas, you amorphous blob of a holiday?
Angel at dusk.
Figured we'd start strong with a game about the multi-billion-year history of humans engineering ways to throw away their humanity and transform themselves into undying angels that spend their days agglutinating with each other for fun. And it has a no-nipple mode. Truly, we are living in the future of game design. This is Angel at Dusk, a game that's difficult to talk about in this limited format due to just how much is here. You get a huge selection of ways to tear through these unfeeling abominations. Regardless if you decide to roll with a flamethrower, a three-way shot, a charge beam, or any number of other options, the main idea is to get right in the enemy's faces for more blood cell pickups. Lives, bombs, and level ups basically. Like the store page says, the best offense is a good offense, but do learn when to back off or you will be blindsided by fast-moving attacks. Especially in Chronicle mode, a series of branching paths with remixed layouts, where a full run can take around an hour and a half, and where enemies get stronger with each level. You gotta collect better and better weapon types with randomized stats, and eat the ones you don't want to boost things like your lives and auto regen. You don't tackle this mode with skill so much as get a busted weapon that'll let you bushwhack through this tide of nightmare flesh walls, all with enough slowdown to make you feel like you're playing a cave title. Now, any fan of this genre knows the typical visual style usually consists of girls, ships, or girls and ships. And you think I'm joking, but when you really think about it, I am 100% right. It makes me appreciate games like Freedom Finger and Neko Navy a lot more. Angel at Dusk ditches those conventions for a very unique art style that wouldn't be out of place in a gallery, just one you probably wouldn't want to take your girlfriend to. The backgrounds, enemy designs, and even your own angel's various growth stages are filled to the brim with fascinating details. It makes for a shmup that is endlessly entertaining to the eyes. No nipple mode is doing this art style a disservice. I mean, come on, I seriously doubt any of this was drawn with the intention to arouse or titillate. Well, throw that statement out the window. I wouldn't listen to the soundtrack recreationally, but it does its job of enforcing a sense of bizarre unease. The boss intro sounds pleasantly mellow, and then the grotesque H.R. Giger abomination shows up to remind you this isn't Sunday school. And here's the kicker, all of this was made by just one person, and translated into English by Hank the bartender. Thank you, Hank. It may appear like an unwieldy clusterfuck that only fools would rush into, but there is a method to the madness. I greatly enjoyed Angel at Dusk, and for just $15 on Steam, I think you will too.
Radiant Silver Gun.
Look, I'ma keep it 100% funky fresh with you. I value fun over difficulty. Yeah, I'm one of those weirdos that gets more satisfaction from having a good time over cracking my skull against a brick wall. Who'da thunk? I enjoy some of Radiant Silvergun's mechanics, but the intense difficulty customary to Treasure shmup design left me feeling conflicted. First, it betrays the namesake of the genre. They're called shootemups, not leave everything but a certain color enemy alive for maximized points and level ups Ups. Do you have to play like that? No, but you're gonna spend forever on bosses with weak weapons if you don't. I guess it's novel in a way, but it's certainly not how I want to play. Speaking of bosses, Radiant Silvergun is the Contra Shattered Soldier of Shmups, because seems like every 30 seconds is punctuated by a boss fight. There are some portions where I downed a boss, fought a small wave of enemies, and then immediately went right into another boss. Barely 10 seconds in between. Levels are already long enough. It takes 10 minutes just to finish level 1, but throw in constant bosses against your potentially underleveled weapons, and you've got a recipe for tedium. Less than 5% of players have completed the arcade mode once, and this game claims to have a very easy mode. Treasure, I love ya, but your game's me harder than Hellsinker. With the exception of the repetitive first level theme, the soundtrack by Hitoshi Sakimoto is great stuff. Who knew the Final Fantasy Tactics composer was a shmup fan? If Radiant Silvergun was my only game as a kid, then I'm sure I would have come around to its rigid playstyle, but if given the choice, I think I'd go with Ikaruga instead. The color change mechanic gives me a headache, but I think it's more fun than this leveling system. Rock solid game, it's just not for me.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Cyber Blocker.
Cyber Blocker is like Arkanoid after stabbing yourself in the heart with an adrenaline needle. Want a faster clear bonus? Laser. Having trouble with a few blocks off in a corner? Laser. Boss not dying fast enough? Laser. Dr. Evil would like this game. If I said the soundtrack sounded like air, would anybody know what I was talking about? It's got the shooty bangs, enemies, and sidebars full of information, as the genre likes to do these days, but can Cyber Blocker really be called a shmup? Well, you're listening to the guy who made a really dumb argument that Paperboy was one, so...
We're so sorry, skeletons.
Flesh.
Okay, so he swallows a little ship that's supposed to help him lose weight. Oh, he's losing his teeth. Yeah, I think I see what's going on here. Flesh is very simple, but satisfying. You get a basic shot and a sword swing or whatever that erases bullets and deals a buttload of damage. Hitting enemies with your main shot recharges the swing, and ceasing fire increases your collection radius for coins, avoiding the sin of not giving you any reason to stop shooting. That's about it, and it works great. Once I learned the offensive power of the sword swing, I started having this little mental game of trying not to waste it on erasing bullets. But the bosses aren't gonna let you off that easy. My hubris often left me cornered and begging for mercy. Other than not being able to regain hit points mid-level and the B-type ship feeling kinda awkward to use, Flesh is a fine game that I had a great time with. I'm just not too wild about the price. Angel at Dusk is only $5 more with far more content. Get Flesh on sale for sure.
I can't remember when I've had a more pleasant day.
Dead End City.
Whoa, 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 whoa! I swear, Steam did not used to have controller problems like this. Sometimes games want Steam input, sometimes they don't. This radical little Mad Max homage is Dead End City, and it's all about keeping your fuel gauge topped off to increase your score multiplier and stay alive. Kinda plays like a combination of Spy Hunter and Gunsmoke for the slower sections. Oh, excuse me, I meant Gun.Smoke. Saving up bullets to mow down waves of enemies with your Gatling gun is really satisfying, but enemy attacks will surprise you by hiding amongst the falling pickups. It's no big deal in the early levels where fuel is plentiful, but taking too many pot shots will quickly become a problem later. No lives, no continues, hell, not even an option to buy them in the shop. It makes the sting of failure pretty painful. I had the most fun during boss fights. They give plenty of bullets, so they're the perfect chance to just dump ammo and dismantle them piece by piece. The authentically retro audio-visual style makes this feel like a game that I could have grown up with at the local Pizza Hut, right next to Iron Man Ivan Stewart's Super Off-Road.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
Again, I don't think the base price is great for the amount of content, but definitely pick it up on sale sometime. It is too damn solid to be so obscure.
Spirit supernatural.
Truxton.
Man, I'm not gonna be making any friends in the shmup community with this one. See, that's the thing I don't get. Hardcore fans look at Truxton and give it a chef kiss. Just utter classic. I look at Truxton and I feel like somebody just took a dump in my soup. Oh, yup. That's feces. I don't know if I even buy the argument that it was good for its time. I guess people just weren't bothered by taking forever to upgrade a weapon and losing it all with a single death. No throttle speed button and being allowed to pick up way too many speed upgrades can leave you desperately trying to dodge one bullet and careening into another.
Damn it!
And don't even get me started on beginner's traps like this. Who the hell is playing f***ing Truxton today? I'll tell you who. Nobody but the hardest of the hardcore enthusiasts. I'm sorry, but I just don't have the appreciation for this game that those guys do. Playing this is like being in the same office as Terry Tate.
Rival Megagun.
Here's a game that wants to be a one-on-one competitive shmup like Twinkle Star Sprites or Phantasmagoria of Flower View, but doesn't accomplish it nearly as well. Mainly you shoot enemies to keep a chain going and power up your special bar, but oftentimes new enemy spawns like to wait till just when your chain is about to run out, making it hard for slower characters to reach them in time. With how narrow this field is, I feel like this really shouldn't be a problem. What I should be doing is efficiently weaving through waves of bullets and taking out enemies at the same time. Instead, I often end up losing my chain because I guessed wrong about which side of the screen an enemy was going to show up on. That's not fun, it's frustrating. The speed of Buddy 2.0 helped, but I don't consider being railroaded into a playstyle fixing the problem. The game tries to have some player choice in how you attack your rival. You either charge a special or wait till the bar fills up and go full mecha mode. This probably works as intended against a real person, but the charge attacks are basically useless in single player, while the mecha was always a guaranteed victory, so there's your dominant strategy. I'd like to find the guys who thought arcade mode starting with 6 or 7 cutscenes was okay and slap some sense into them. Don't ever do this again. I think the folks at Space Wave Software and RJ Arcade should have spent a little more time examining what it is that makes this style of shmup fun and engaging. I'm not gonna pretend like I understand everything going on in a game of Phantasmagoria, I just know it's way more fun.
Rolling Gunner.
That Truxton has a 97% positive review rating on Steam, while Rolling Gunner is only at 88, makes me feel like there's a glitch in the Matrix. Are we playing the same game here? Rolling Gunner is rad! I've played horizontal shmups with rotating options before, and I usually have a tough time getting the hang of them. But Rolling Gunner just seems to handle it so much smoother. The snappy rotation and focus fire locking it in place feels so natural. There's a reason this mechanic became the game's namesake. I especially like how score items are tied to your offensive power. Collect gold medals till you reach 1,000 and you can trigger a powered up state, which then makes medals start filling up yet another meter. Play efficiently and you can extend your powered up mode into an even more powerful limiter release. Kinda like the double break mode from Crimson Clover. Rock solid mechanics and top-notch presentation? Huh. She's perfect. And I just gotta mention how this game has some of the best level transitions I've ever seen. Amazing how just the right amount of screen shake can give mostly static images so much energy. Rolling Gunner is simply splendid and very casual friendly. Although if casual isn't your thing, you could always—
Nope, I was wrong! Put the training wheels back on, please!
Bags of bones seem so unsafe.
Astral Gunner.
I've seen plenty of games that were thrown together to make a quick buck, these creatively bankrupt wastes of Steam's database. These games are easy to make fun of because nobody could ever take them seriously. It's when I play something like Astral Gunner, something that was clearly made with sincerity and effort, that I have such a hard time critiquing it. I don't know what it is, but Astral Gunner just rubs me the wrong way. I know I don't like how bosses take forever and aren't fun to fight. This corrupted shield guy is so easy and repetitive that I ended up dying once because it was draining my attention span. Collecting score items fills your bomb meter, and using it will make enemy bullets fill your multiplier, but there's no way to get score items during boss fights. Even when your multiplier maxes out and powers you up, the score items you get from shooting the boss don't fill your bomb meter. You're guaranteed to go in with at least one bomb, but once you use it, it's gone. You're stuck shuffling around with basic attacks for the rest of the fight. So the main scoring mechanic is too situational to be consistently engaging. And I gotta be real, the visuals do nothing for me. There are little bits of animation I like, but not nearly enough of it. The sound design suffers too. Boss fights sound strangely empty despite the mindless butt rock playing the same riffs over and over. Where's all the sound effects? Chivos don't lie. Half of players bail after level 1. That's a pretty clear indicator that something ain't right here. At least those people get to avoid the beginner's traps that nobody could feasibly expect their first time. If you saw my impressions of B.Arc, you know I really f***ing hate getting charged like that. I played this game more than I wanted to in the hopes that I would eventually get it, and it was just a bad first impression. I could see glimmers of fun ideas, but the experience as a whole just could not win me over. Astral Gunner is Sati Bro's first release on Steam, and while it didn't appeal to me, I am curious to see what they do next. It's all about tough love. If I didn't care, I wouldn't have bothered. Now, it's time to save breakfast.
Hazelnut Hex.
I cannot recommend this game enough. This is
Hazelnut Hex!
the game where Nat and her little squirrel buddy Sam have to find out why breakfast has disappeared and save their friends from the horrible fate of being hungry and cranky in the morning.
Dear God.
The visuals are a delight to the eye, and the characters and enemies are all kinds of charming. We've got surly-looking snowman, disgruntled goblin, naked girl in a clamshell, irritable Medusa, and a breakfast-hating demon girl in pajamas. See ya! Apparently Chunder Fins, the game's creator, has even contributed some animation for Smiling Friends, a show that I've heard is quite good.
Bye-bye. Get out of here, man.
As for the soundscape, it is a symphony of pleasing sound effects and lighthearted rock that I'd be lying if I said it didn't get a little tiresome after a while. Need some Powerwolf to balance it out. ceasefire to charge up a blast, and you can erase bullets and rows of enemies for combos. You'd think the ability to erase bullets so easily would make it a crutch for tough bosses, but it takes a bit of skillful aiming, with any missed shot making the fight take longer, which may just end up screwing you anyway. You want a real crutch? Save up all 6 of your super beams, ideally for the second phase so you can get a buttload of bullet cancel bonuses.
Hit him with your spirit gun, Nat.
Spirit gun!
3 standard attacks, a gameplay-altering secondary attack, and your oh shit button. A tried and true genre formula, and one that works very well here. Just one thing, I would like if maxing out my stock of super beams gave me a temporary powered up state. Call it a sugar rush or something. Then once it ran out, I could use a beam and focus on building it up again. It'd be a fun way to reward players that don't lean on bombs for survivability. Cauliflower Curse, the only breakfast cereal inspired by real cauliflower. I got a cauliflower curse for you. That is and I don't much care for it. All this for a bargain bin price of only $8 on Steam? You can't afford not to try it for that price. What does arcade quality dialogue mean exactly?
Gunvein.
Gunvein has a funny idea of what mild difficulty is. Ooh, it's a bit spicy. Ooh, it's for beginners. Jesus, guys. Can't say it wasn't fun as hell though. Impeccable design on display here. Nothing is incidental. I always thought a minor weakness of Crimson Clover was your lock-on range being roughly the whole screen, which only requires the player to listen for sound cues and release the button over and over. Makes my finger tired. But in Gunvein, you often have to put yourself in harm's way to lock on and increase your damage output, since the range is so short. It is an excellent risk-reward method and a great way to increase player engagement. And I wrote all that before trying the Type B ship, which is literally the ship from Crimson Clover. Well, that's fine. Options are good. Type C is like a mix of A and B, letting you spam explosive shots at close range, but also letting you fire them from afar with enough charge time. Good stuff. Destroying enemies quickly nets you fragments, which give you bombs or a temporary powered up state by spending 5 fragments. Between the short range laser and incentive to take out enemies fast, I think I see what NG Dev meant by aggression based shmup. Gunvein wants you in the action, not hugging the bottom of the screen like a weak little boy. Well, I'm not a weak little boy. I'm a grown ass man. I can handle it. The visuals give me a powerful urge to play Dodonpachi Resurrection, and the music makes me want to go to the graveyard without the G. And I can't praise the fully analog control enough. Having movement that's so buttery smooth on a controller is the only reason I can't complain about the high difficulty. Yeah, I know, I talk about difficulty a lot, and you are well within your rights to say get good in the comments. Gunvein is insane. Insanely fun. For sure a must-buy.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Flying Red Barrel.
This one may appear innocent with its cute little graphics and cute little soundtrack, but don't be fooled. If you don't perform perfectly, you will be told how trash you are. Jesus, game, I only died once. Come on, I even figured out about charging missiles for a stronger attack. You didn't tell me about that game. Don't know what kind of sense that makes. What, am I firing them from a slingshot? I do enjoy this game, but there's a problem with the controls. I think the dead zone with the controller is set too low. Trying to simply move left or right would often result in going diagonal because it's so damn sensitive. I had to be super deliberate with my inputs. It felt better on a keyboard, but I haven't played shmups like that since my hardcore Toho days like 15 years ago. My weapon of choice is the DualShock 4. Man, it's gonna be rough when Sony eventually stops selling this thing. If you don't mind hunching over a keyboard and being told you're a disappointment, then Flying Red Barrel is for you.
Cosmo Dreamer.
Here we have a game of opposing extremes. First it's like, aw, that's cute. But then it's like,
This is some intense
like Hazelnut Hex, Cosmo Dreamer appears pleasant, but it's actually an emotional roller coaster. You'll struggle in a pulse-pounding boss fight, and then the stage complete theme will sound like resting at an inn. Talk about tonal whiplash.
Oh my god, it's the Scissor Girl!
Don't let the term maniac make you think this is the balls to the wall hard mode for crazy people. This is only one level above easy, where waves of bullets can easily pin you against a wall, if you pick high damage, low spread attack options like I did. What can I say? First impressions made me think this would be a cakewalk. It's actually a pretty healthy challenge. Oh hey, I beat Tupac's record. I like how you get to freely choose your stages when starting out. It gives you a chance to get accustomed to each stage before the proper arcade mode unlocks. It isn't complex mechanic-wise, but with a wide selection of loadouts, fun visuals, great music, and frenetically engaging gameplay, Cosmo Dreamer is easily another must-buy. That's like, what, 6 now? A lot of bangers this year. And we're not even done with this developer yet. 2 years later, they upped their game with
Like Dreamer.
Plays basically the same as Cosmo Dreamer, except now you're fighting tooth and nail for likes and follows. Can relate. You now get 3 streamer-themed characters with their own variety of loadouts. I like how the gamer girl can lock her options in place, and how the cat girl can choose to ditch bombs for temporary power-ups instead. As for Vanilla Alice... The levels are all themed around internet communities, like animals, gaming, emo? What is this, the 90s? And underwater? Is there a bustling underwater fan base on YouTube I'm unaware of? The Beatles called. They want their submarine back. Like Dreamer is Cosmo Dreamer, just a little more refined with a little more content. You're pretty much guaranteed to like it if you enjoyed Cosmo. As long as you don't mind Tig Old Biddy staring you in the face. You know, those honker bonker doinky boinkies remind me of something. Deep Space Waifu Flat Justice. What do you even want me to say at this point? Neko Climax has made a career out of selling the same game 5 times now, soon to be 6. God damn it, I've talked about the same game 5 times now. Any game that showers you with achievements simply for navigating menus is not worth your time. I would rather play Hellsinker than this trash. I'd rather play Truxton than spend another The Tits Police?
What the hell is even that?
Look, I'm sorry, but these games, they're mechanically shallow, creatively bankrupt, smut rubbish that get rave reviews on Steam, when games like Hazelnut Hex and Dead End City languish in relative obscurity. That doesn't make me happy. I do not feel my life being any more enriched by anime girls getting their clothes shot off. Why do you think I haven't bought the Dragon Maid shmup yet? Yeah, I said yet. I like the show, alright? I have informed you of around 7 must-buy shmups on Steam. Deep Space Waifu Flat Justice is not one of them. I never want to see this series again. Next game.
Send shivers down your spine.
Strikers 1945.
For talking about the Strikers series twice already, I've sure neglected to complain about something that every one of these games does. I love them to death, but I can't stand unexpected bullets coming at me at lightning speed. Better keep a hair trigger on that bomb button. I don't see how anybody's supposed to 1cc this on higher difficulties. Hell, I can barely make it through stage 3 on normal. That's this series' classic arcade trappings shining through. Psycho's got bills to pay, and they're gonna take it out of your ass in quarters or $9.99 USD. Seems the only way I can have any fun with these games is by playing on monkey difficulty. And you know what? I am okay with that. I don't remember if the other 2 games were like this, but the first Strikers gets kinda wacky around the end.
Hey,
scorpion.
What, are there giant enemy crabs too? Actually, yeah, like 6 of them. Strikers 1945. Historically accurate. What? You know what I think of when I see a blimp? Their air-to-air combat capabilities. If you have the choice, I'd say go with the second game. Just be prepared to give in to your primitive side. Reject humanity, return to monkey.
You only want to socialize.
Darius Cosmic Collection Arcade.
How about we do a little fishing? For giant mechanical fish? Just not in the first 3 games of this arcade collection. It's nice they're here for historical preservation, but they're so ridiculously tough that I don't even want to bother. I couldn't even get to level 2 on the first game because of how continues work. Darius 2 fares a little better with its 2 screen length instead of 3. Man, these games must have been real head turners in the arcades.
I always wanted a thing called tuna sashimi.
What the hell? Now Darius Gaiden, this is the stuff. I've always had a strange interest in it ever since I saw it on Jet Li's Black Mask, where he ties up a librarian and makes her play the Sega Saturn version. Confirmation that everybody likes Golden Ogre. Gaiden was designed to be played on a single screen, which is great for those at home without a dual monitor setup. However, I think Taito got a little overzealous with the screen crunch.
Please, come closer. Too close, a little too close.
You're expected to both memorize and maneuver through tight corridors and ridiculously thick and fast bullet patterns with a very unforgiving hitbox. And this is on easy. Easy? What sick f***s would call this easy? You think this is something? You think this is bad, this difficulty? It can be worse. And I bought it. I shouldn't have. I added it to my own Steam library. What was I thinking? It'll never change. Darius will never change, ever since 1987. Always the same. Stealing my lives and power-ups. And this gets to be called easy mode? What a sick joke. It defecated through a sunroof. Gaiden is not a game you pick up and play on a whim. You gotta commit to it. You gotta buy it a ring, get a prenup, move in together, have kids, the whole shebang. You gotta use those bombs. You gotta know when to hold back on the power-ups because, yeah, sometimes upgrading to the laser isn't the best way to go. You don't have to aim for the orbs on mini-bosses to make them your fish slaves, but it sure is neat. Most of all, you gotta be patient. You gotta be willing to endure repeated curb stomps, pimp slaps, and nut shots on your journey to mastery. For a game that demands such devotion, at least you get plenty of level variety, with a select system that makes me wonder if the Shadow the Hedgehog team was playing a lot of Gaiden on their work breaks during development. Zuntata's soundtrack is pretty great too. Their music can be really hit or miss sometimes, but you can't deny, it makes Gaiden stand out in the genre. Darius 1, 2, and Sagaya are cute additions to the collection, but the real meat comes from Gaiden, and $45 for one shmup that only real masochists are gonna get the most out of is a hard sell for casuals. I'm normally not interested in paying to be abused, but for you guys, anything.
Cotton Rock and Roll.
This adorable little witch game is tough, but not insurmountably so. You're given plenty of tools to survive and plenty of characters to find the right playstyle for you. Cotton herself is a fine choice with her variety of magic charge attacks, but I ended up vibing more with Luffy. She has a more basic toolkit that kept me from getting distracted by colored crystals and which element of magic I was currently using. Her charge attack can pump your score into the stratosphere if you use it right. The only problem is her damage output on bosses. It's pretty terrible. On the other hand, the end boss character you unlock does not have that problem. Oh my god! Hell, you can even take on the playstyle from Cyverior Delta, grazing bullets to both level up and gain an invincible shield. Or be a girl riding a blowfish. Now this is gaming. Man, Witches be trippin'. I've played a lot of shmups that flood the screen with point items, but rock and roll is a deluge of them if you use your special mechanics right, to the point where enemy bullets can easily hide amongst a rain of point items. I still haven't quite figured out how to deal with that. Now here's something I love. Bosses will actually evolve depending on your chosen difficulty. That's brilliant. We need more higher difficulty incentives like that. I did have a few minor problems. It took way too long to get the controls just the way I wanted. This rebind menu is just so screwed up. The show hitbox option doesn't do squat. It just stayed off no matter what I did. And turning off voices still let through some especially annoying boss lines. With a wide selection of varied playstyles and the freedom to choose and skip levels you don't like, with even more levels unlocking as you play other characters, Cotton Rock and Roll brings a hefty amount of content that's pretty rare for this genre. I don't think the $25 asking price is too unreasonable, but it's easily a must-buy on sale. This is one anime game I wouldn't mind my dad walking in on.
Proto Corgi.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. It has lots of attack options and combinations, but it's all in service of a shmup with dreadfully boring enemy patterns and repeated obstacles over slow-moving levels. It'll introduce a hazard and then beat you over the head with it multiple times until you're sick of it, like these rows of mechanical fish or these flashing obstacles to maneuver through. What is this Battletoads bullshit? It makes for a game that is painfully slow on repeat playthroughs, so naturally it guarantees you'll have to start from the beginning on your first game over since you haven't unlocked continues yet. Kimono Games, why do you hurt me so? Kinda reminds me of R-Type, a series that gives you all these cool power-ups but barely anything to shoot them with, and then you die to something stupid and lose them all. I cannot express how much I don't like R-Type. Proto Corgi is a case of style over substance. I wish I liked playing it so I could enjoy the cute visuals and total banger of a soundtrack. I always sit on that title screen for a bit. Level 1's theme is just stellar, the perfect track to start an adventure. But here's the best part, and I can't believe I get to say this, but there's an anime OP.
Murasaki Tsurugi.
Alright game, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Okay, I see you're choosing the hard way. Enjoy a game of shmup marbles with Murasaki Tsurugi. I talked about the original game a while ago, and this is much of the same, but way better. You're still shooting colored blocks and circles into each other for massive screen-clearing explosions, but in the first game, they would disappear and damage you if you ran into them. I didn't realize at the time, but that was a pretty big problem. But hey, now you're free to move wherever, so no harm, no foul. This freedom of movement allows for a much busier playfield. More enemies and more bullets equals more engagement. Attacks are thicker, quicker, and the soundtrack is sicker. Like, this is gonna sound crazy for a game you've probably never heard of, but this is seriously one of the best soundtracks I've heard for the genre. my god, it's... Yet another must-buy. Damn, I'm eating good this video. Murasaki Tsurugi is a quality game with a budget price. Just remember to launch through your Steam library to open the config menu. Alt-Enter doesn't work to full screen it for some reason.
Gray's Counter GM.
This takes me back to my first shmup video from 2019, back when I didn't know how to speak properly. What we have here is a more polished remake of Gray's Counter developed with Game Maker, hence the GM. The playfield is still the same, but the visible area is now the full screen, letting you see approaching enemies from the sides. An excellent utilization of all that extra space. Also, you can now collect all 3 of these item drops by squeezing into the middle. Grazing bullets to fill your counter meter is still as satisfying as it always was. Having so many ways to clear enemy bullets and become invincible makes this a pretty easy ride. I 1cc'd Novice no problem, and even came close on normal. And by close, I mean it literally could not have been any closer. I choked on the last boss with just a speck of health left.
My life.
Oh, there's Hank the bartender again. Translator by day, bartender by night. Not much else to say really. Gray's Counter was great back in 2017 and it's even better today. If you missed out, now is the time to release your inner cow and get to grazing.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Akai Katana Shin.
Oh yeah, it's time for the big motherfucker of shmup developers. That's right, it's Cave. And this game has a lot going on. Unless it's Hellsinker, I can usually suss out mechanics just by playing the game naturally, but Akai Katana had me feeling a little lost my first run. I had the basic idea of building energy and switching to ninja mode, but I didn't feel like I was fully utilizing it, like Captain Ginyu in Goku's body. I had to check out the Electric Underground's vid, and he learned me good. There's more to it, but basically switching to ninja mode gives you 2 firing modes. The basic shot makes you invincible, but only in Zetsu Akai Katana. That's right, this is a collection of 3 games. And Focus Fire shoots a point-gathering laser. Okay? Okay. Oh man, that was juicy. Apparently, the full mechanics were such a pain to explain they didn't bother adding a how to play option. This genre is usually pretty pick up and play, but sometimes you need a little guidance to get the full experience. If you haven't gotten tired of me saying it already, yeah, this is another must-buy for sure. The obsessively detailed sprite work, rockin' soundtrack, and super engaging gameplay are all the hallmarks of Cave. So's the slowdown, but that's just kinda how they do. It's not a hardware limitation, it's a feature. Back in the day when these guys set out to make a game, they delivered only the best. I am so grateful that Mushihime-sama, Dodonpachi Resurrection, and now Akai Katana Shin have all made their way to PC. So, what's Cave been up to these days? A Toho gacha mobile game. Well, I can understand that. Gacha games make a ton of money after all, and these guys gotta pay the bills somehow. But we're not done just yet. Around the time of its release, I was gifted a game by a kind fan. I thought it's either gotta be utter crap or real good. It was the second one. Okay, let's calm down for a sec and start with a history lesson. In 1996, a young Japanese gentleman by the name of Shigetake, who would later work for Vanillaware as an artist, sat down in front of his PlayStation and said,
ビデオゲームを作りたいです。
Video game o skuritai desu. I'm gonna make some Japanese folks angry with this. So he booted up a shmup creation tool called Desemon Plus and made Devil Blade. A fairly simple game, but hey, you tried developing something using one of these. And now, 28 years later, Devil Blade Reboot has taken the bare bones original and added some serious meat. I'm talking grade A Japanese Wagyu beef. New and improved graphics, music, mechanics, animations, voice lines, and even some unlockables. This is what a labor of love looks like, and if there were any justice in this world, DBR would be a contender in the Steam Awards. But most people don't care about shmups. The name of the game is to get close to enemies and stick to them like a remora on a shark, both for maxed out score multipliers and to pump your berserk gauge for even more points. Unfortunately, if you don't care about points, then you're not going to get the most out of this game. But DBR just might make a believer out of you. Even me, a person who mostly plays this genre for fun, got way invested in placing high on the leaderboards, just because engaging with the scoring mechanic is so compelling. Do you want to sit at the bottom of the screen with your spread shot, or do you want to get into the thick of it and play the game for real?
I'm so bored!
There is some memorization involved for those fast-moving boss attacks with no sound cues, but there are just as many attacks that give you plenty of both audio and visual warnings, kinda like boss fights in Final Fantasy XIV. As for length, no exhaustion concerns here. One playthrough takes about 20 minutes over 5 stages. I really like Stage 4, where the whole thing is dismantling different weapon configurations on a giant ship. As for the bosses, they are simply a treat with their radical mecha designs and voice lines that, yeah, some of them crack me up every time.
Damn you! I'll be waiting for you in hell.
Sorry, but Zork Empire? As an old Yu-Gi-Oh veteran, I just can't take that seriously.
I finally destroyed the world!
Well done, Zork. What are you going to do now?
I'm going to Disney World!
Devil Blade Reboot's been called the summer hit of 2024 and possibly Shmup of the Year. I second the notion. To whomever gifted me this, sorry I can't remember your name, but thank you very much. It would have been a shame if I had missed out on this instant classic. We sure had a good time today, but I want you guys to understand something. I love shmups, but I'm very much a casual, and this series is largely just a first impressions look at them. If you want more comprehensive and in-depth videos from people that understand the genre way better than I do, check out the Electric Underground for broad analysis videos with a casual tone, Mud Prince, now rebranded as Tengo Kuno, for super in-depth breakdowns of mechanics, and even though he doesn't make videos anymore, Shmup Junkie's archive of fun reviews is definitely worth your time. I may not know a lot, but if there's one thing I know, it's this. Truxton sucks. Please leave a like if you like my style, and have a great holiday, guys. You make this whole YouTube thing worth it. See you next time.